I am 85 years old, and if you think the truth about war lies in victory, then you are believing a story that is very familiar and very wrong. I believed it for almost my entire life. I grew up with clear lessons. Winning is right, losing is wrong. War is a necessary sacrifice in exchange for peace. The victors come home, the story closes history, gives us praise. Everything sounded neat, easy to believe. And I believed it. I believed when I was young enough not to ask questions. I believed when people called it glory. I believed when shiny medals made everything look meaningful. I believed war could be measured by wins and losses, by territory taken by who stood higher on the final day. For a long time, I thought I had understood the whole story, but then I grew old, and only when time began to feel shorter did I realize something very hard to accept. War does not care whether you win or lose. It does not end just because someone declares victory. It does not disappear because the guns fall silent and a paper is signed. That is what society does not tell you. History does not tell you. Propaganda does not tell you. They give you the easy part, the tidy part, the part that fits in textbooks, but they leave out the other half, the longer part, the quieter part, the part that begins after everyone has turned away. I have lived long enough to understand that the greatest truth about war is not found on the battlefield. It is found in the years that come after. And if war does not truly end when someone wins, then where does it actually end? When I was young, war was taught to us as a clean story with a beginning, a climax, and an ending. We were told it was necessary, that it was about protection, that it was the duty of men old enough to hold a gun. No one asked whether I doubted it because there seemed to be nothing to doubt. The world was divided clearly, right and wrong, victory and defeat, enemy and home. Everything was so simple, it felt reassuring. I believed I was standing on the right side of history. I believed that if I did my part, endured long enough, survived and returned home, then everything would be fine. Victory was promised as a final reward, a full stop to all loss, a door opening onto peace. We were told that when victory came, the pain would stop. That sacrifice would have meaning, that what was lost would be repaid by the future ahead. And I believed it naturally, innocently. In my mind, then, war was not something that lingered. It was a phase, a passage to move through, and then it would be over. I did not question it, not because I was brave, but because I did not know what question to ask. I believed war was a story with a clear ending, and then the war ended, at least on paper, in books, on the evening news. They said we had won. Flags were raised. Celebrations were held. People said it was all over. I came home believing the same thing, but there was no moment called "it's finished." No day I woke up feeling that everything had returned to normal. There were silences I did not know how to name. Evenings that were very quiet but not peaceful. I sat in familiar rooms among familiar people and still felt lost. People told me familiar things, that I was lucky to be alive, that we had won, that the war had been over for a long time, so why keep thinking about it? I told myself the same things. I tried to believe that victory was enough, but victory did not teach me how to sleep through the night. It did not teach me how to sit with the silence in my own head. It did not teach me how to become an ordinary human being again. I realized that after victory, there were no instructions for the rest of life. No one said that when the gunfire stopped, other things would begin to make noise. No one said that victory does not automatically bring peace. I understood this very slowly in small moments, when I did not know why I was irritable, when I avoided simple questions, when I realized I was alive but not truly present. War was no longer out there. It was no longer on maps or in history lessons. It moved inside me quietly. And the hardest part was that no one prepared me for that. They taught me how to win a war, but no one taught me how to live after winning. I won the war, but I did not know how to live afterward. I thought for a long time before saying this out loud, because there are truths that do not make people proud. War itself is not necessarily wrong in a historical sense. There are times when an entire generation believes it has no other choice. I believed that too. When I was young, I saw war as an event. It had reasons, orders, a beginning date, and an ending date. It was loud, clear, and even though it was brutal, it had structure. You knew where you were. You knew what you had to do. You knew when it would stop. We were told that victory was the answer to everything, that if we won, if we survived, if we came home, then every loss would have meaning. I believed that without a single doubt, and for a long time I felt I was standing on the right side of the story. But then I grew old, and when you grow old, everything becomes quieter. There are no more gunshots, no more cheers, only afternoons that feel longer than they should. And in that quiet, I began to realize there was half of the story that was never told. When you are young, war is a task, a responsibility, something you complete and then cross off the list of your life. But when you are old, war is no longer something you remember. It is something that comes to you on its own, without invitation, without warning. It appears in nights when you cannot sleep, in moments that seem meaningless, in the way you look at yourself in the mirror and do not know why you feel unfamiliar. No one tells you that victory does not heal a human being. No one tells you that there are wounds that do not need blood to exist. No one teaches you how to live with the parts of yourself that have changed and can never return. I used to think my problem was memory, that if I could forget a few images, everything would be fine. But that was not it. What haunted me was not what happened, but what came after the feeling of being left behind when the world has moved on, the feeling of having to pretend you are fine because everyone around you believes the story is already over. People teach you how to win a war very thoroughly and very clearly, but no one teaches you how to become human again afterward. No one tells you that you can carry war with you for your entire life without realizing it, not in the form of guns or explosions, but in the way you stay silent, in the way you avoid emotions, in the way you sit among your family and still feel alone. It took me many years to understand that what exhausted me was not the past, but the fact that I did not know where to put it. I kept carrying it from year to year because no one ever told me it could be set down. And then one day, at 85 years old, I understood this war is not decided by winning or losing. It is decided by what it leaves behind inside a person. Things no one sees, things that earn no medals, things that never appear in history books. War does not live only on the battlefield. It lives in the years that follow, when you have to relearn how to live with yourself, when everything is set to be over, but inside it is not. I sit here in this quiet room and I know the war ended a long time ago, but its truth has never truly left. Now I am 85 years old. At this age, there is not much time left to understand more. and not enough strength left to deceive myself. I sit here knowing clearly that most of my life is behind me. What remains is not for fixing mistakes, but for facing the truth. I am not saying this to teach you anything, and I am not here to judge. I am only voicing the questions that took me far too long to face. Is there something in your life that is still ongoing,